Howdy, y'all. This is the Los Band, and today I'm going to talk about some of my favorite movies that have been released in the past 10 years that I've come to collect and enjoy. The first movie is going to be Attack of the Block. Now, Attack of the Block is a 2011 movie directed by Joe Cornish, and it stars John Boyega and Jodie Whittaker. Now, John Boyega is known for the Star Wars trilogy. He plays Finn, so he's become quite popular in recent years. And Jodie Whittaker, who is the co-star, is the current Doctor Who, so you probably recognize her from that role. Now, Attack the Block was a movie that did not get a U.S. release. It's an English movie. It's about an alien invasion and a group of thuggish teens who band together with a nurse to basically fight off an attack by aliens. Like I said, it didn't get a U.S. release, but this was an amazing movie. When I checked it out, and I was like, wow, this would have been a big movie if they had released it, but it's definitely worth checking out and worth seeking out. The next movie is The Innkeepers. Now, The Innkeepers is an independent film from 2011, directed by Ty West. It stars Sarah Paxton, Pat Healy, and Kelly McGillis. Now, The Innkeepers is about a pair of hotel employees who are keeping an eye on an old hotel that's going to be closing down, and they encounter some creepy encounters in there. This is a low budget movie, but it's a great film. It's one worth seeking out. And it's a great cast. I mean, Sarah Paxton, Pat Healy. They've been in a number of movies together. So they're part of a collection of films in a genre called mumblegore, where most of the events are spoken of and they create a good tension within the movie. So you don't get a lot of action, but what you do get is a lot of creepy vibes. And this is definitely an excellent example of a mumblegore movie. Okay, next film's going to be 2012's Chronicle. Now, this is not so much a horror movie, it's a found footage movie. It's a little more of a sci fi ish, a little bit of horror thrown in. It is directed by Josh Trank and stars Dane Denham, Michael B. Jordan, and Alex Russell. Now, Chronicle is about three teenagers who develop superpowers after an encounter with a mysterious object that falls from the sky. And unlike most superhero movies, this one takes a unique approach. It basically shows how powers can drive you to do good things or they can drive you to do evil. So it's a good little character study on the nature of good and evil. And it's definitely one of my favorite found footage movies. You're next, of course. Now, I've spoken about this movie before, and I will not hesitate from saying that this is one of my all time favorite movies. Definitely one of my favorite movies of the past 10 years. Now, Your Next was made in 2011 but released in 2013, directed by Adam Wingard. It stars Sharni Vincent, Joe Swanberg, AJ Bowen, Barbara Crampton, and Ty West. This is a home invasion movie, and it is an amazing film. It talks about, or it describes the events that occur when a group of masked individuals attack a family during a anniversary celebration. It is, like I said, it is a home invasion movie, but it's not like one you've ever seen before, and it's definitely a must see. I mean, if you've never seen Your Next, you need to watch it. I mean, if nothing more than to see one of the most amazing final girls of the past 10 years. It's definitely worth checking out. Not to mention that this is the movie that marked Barbara Crampton's return to horror. So, hey, pay some respect to the queen of screen, or better yet, the screen queen, Barbara Crampton. The Conjuring. Now, everyone's probably heard of The Conjuring, but you know what? It's still one of the best out there. It is from it is from 2013, directed by James Wan, who's best known for the Saw franchise, and it stars Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson, Ron Livingston, and Lily Taylor. Now, The Conjuring has become quite a major movie franchise these past few years with the Annabelle movies, as well as The Nun and La Llorona. All those movies are part of the Conjuring series, so I think as of now you have two Conjuring movies with a third one coming out. You have three Annabelle movies, or is it two? And then those other movies. But definitely a good movie. The basically Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson play a husband and wife team of ghost and well, they're basically they investigate ghostly occurrences. Ed and Lorraine Warren is their name, and they are based on real people. So these are some of the events that they've investigated. This is definitely one of the best haunted house movies in the past 10 years. I mean, it's an amazing movie, and the franchise itself is pretty good too. The second movie is really good, and everything short of the Nun and La Llorona are also good movies. I mean, those are kind of the outliers there, but the Annabelle series of movies are also pretty decent, so it's worth checking out. It Follows. Now, here's the funny thing about It Follows. I've met a number of people who are kind of on the fence about this movie. I honestly don't see why they don't love this movie. I know movies like The Babadook, which is another good movie, which I'm not going to mention today, but maybe in a future movie or video, get a lot of scorn from people. But you know what? Just toss that aside. It Follows is a great story. Directed by David Robert Mitchell, and it was released in 2014. Stars Micah Monroe, John Weary, Keir Gilchrist, and Lily Seppi. This is an amazing movie. I mean, simple, low budget. Got a young girl, hooks up with her boyfriend, bad things happen, and she has to live with it. So it's kind of like a parable for sexually transmitted diseases, but in a way that you don't expect. That's what made this movie unique. It is a cautionary film, and it is one that definitely stood out amongst many other movies because it's more than just a ghost story. It's more than that, and it's definitely a movie worth checking out. And what can I say? The cast is great. I mean, Micah Monroe is awesome in this role. I mean, whether you like or dislike the movie, you have to acknowledge its significance because this was a pretty big film, for its, you know, in recent years. All right, next one is going to be one that everyone pretty much is okay with liking, and that is The Witch, spelled with what looks like two V's, but okay. The Witch was released in 2015. Was also directed by David Robert Mitchell. So these two movies right here, man, that's a nice 1-2 punch. Now this movie stars Anya Taylor-Joy, Ralph Ineson, and Kate Dickie, and it basically describes the events of a small puritanical family that's been ostracized by their community, and they live out in the woods away from town, and they encounter some creepiness and bad events. The movie is very dark. It's a slow burn kind of movie, but it's definitely one worth checking out. I mean, what I love about The Witch is that it's one of a group of movies put out by A24. And if you're not familiar with A24, then you haven't been watching horror movies these past few years because they have delivered some of the best critically acclaimed horror movies, including Hereditary and Midsommar and a whole bunch of other movies. But definitely The Witch, it's definitely worth checking out. You gotta catch this. I mean, if you're a fan of horror and you don't watch The Witch, I mean, come on, you gotta watch this movie. This is an amazing movie. I picked this up the other day. This is The Autopsy of Jane Doe. Now, this movie's from 2016 and was directed by Andre Øvredal. Now, Andre Øvredal also directed Troll Hunter. So, you're talking about a really good director there. Now, the movie stars Brian Cox, Emile Hirsch, Olwen Catherine Kelly, and what can you just say about this movie other than the fact that it's amazing? I mean, takes place mostly in one setting, and it has two great actors playing a father and son corner team, and they're basically trying to figure out what in the heck is going on with this mysterious corpse of a beautiful young woman that arrives one night. And I mean, this movie is just amazing. I mean, if you haven't watched it, seek it out. It's definitely, I mean, it's a great movie. It's not what you expect. I know there's a lot of movies out there that involve the haunting of somebody, the possession of somebody, the corpse of somebody. This is the best of those movies. I mean, seriously, this is a movie that needs to be sought out. It Comes at Night. Now, It Comes at Night is also one of those movies that's drawn a little bit of, yay or nay from fans of horror. But it's definitely worth checking out. It's a 2017 movie directed by Trey Edward Shutz, starring Joel Edgerton, Christopher Abbott, Carmen Eisho, is it Ejigo, and Riley Keough. And what I liked about this movie is that it's a slow burn kind of movie. It involves a family that's basically hiding out from something that's occurred. I mean, there's some kind of disaster has occurred that's basically put society, you know, on collapse or, that's the thing. They don't really say. You don't know if it's a virus. You don't know if it's a pandemic. You don't know if it's a nuclear attack. All you know is this family has basically isolated itself and that there's bad things out there. And this is definitely a great movie that deals with paranoia, not to mention the home invasion concept, but taking it a little more extreme. I mean, this is an amazing movie and one that I definitely have to rewatch again because it's a really good movie. But once again, it's a slow burn kind of movie, so don't expect a lot of things to occur until later. So definitely worth checking out. And the last movie for the day is one of my favorite movies, I mean, of recent years, or at least one that really excited me, and that's Upgrade. Now, Upgrade is a 2018 movie directed by Lee Wanell. Now, you may wonder, Lee Wanell, where have I heard that name? He's in Saw. If you've ever seen Saw, he's the dead guy that's basically laying there in the room along with Carrie Elways. But Lee Wanell is also a great writer and a director, and this is a movie that he directed last year, and it is awesome. It is great. It stars Logan Marshall Green, Harrison Gilbertson, and Betty Gabriel. The premise of the movie: a a guy who's a technophobe living in a society of in the near future is paralyzed in a robbery that basically leaves his wife dead and him in a wheelchair. A tech genius comes to him and says, "Hey, I have the technology to that can help you walk again, but the technology comes with a price, and it does have some unexpected circumstances that come along with it." What can I say about Upgrade? If you haven't watched it, this movie gave me the same reaction I had when I watched RoboCop and Predator and The Terminator back in the mid 80s. It is that amazing a movie. It is an action. I mean, okay, it's not a horror movie. It is a sci-fi action thriller, but it has a lot of gory elements. So it's got some horror movie elements to it. And as you watch the story, you'll get why this movie's on this list. It is outstanding. Definitely a 4-star or 5-star, whatever scale you use. But it's definitely a movie worth seeking out. And as you can see, along with the other movies I presented, these are all movies that I own because that's how much I love these movies. They are great movies. And this is definitely one to close this list with. Now, basically, when it comes to the movies of the past 10 years, there's a few that I left out. Because I don't own copies of them. You've got Hereditary, you've got, Quiet Place, and you have some movies that were released this year. I know I have to go out and get when they do come out, including Ready or Not and Knives Out. And, of course, the Halloween reboot, which was not too bad. Now, these are all great movies. These are all movies I own, and I certainly enjoy watching them, and I certainly recommend that you check them out. So, as a collector of movies, I certainly do enjoy physical media, but I also enjoy watching them streaming. So, whenever I get a chance to watch it, I always check it out. So, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close this off and wish y'all a good day.